Sri Krishna Bhavkar from Delonic Society's Bharamati College of Pharmacy, Baranpur, Baramati welcomes you in the session of Mixing in Pharmaceutical Engineering. In this part 4, here we will discuss Twin Shell Blender. This twin shell blender, alternatively it may be called as V-cone blender because its shape looks like letter V. That's why twin shell blender is alternatively called as V-cone blender. The principle of twin shell blender, the main principle behind this twin shell blender is the tumbling motion. That means the mixing occurs due to the tumbling motion. Now, construction of twin shell blender. Twin shell blenders have two connected blending shells that are connected to form a V shape. Intensifier bars are designed to break up clumps and solids while the product is separated in the two ends of the blender. It consists of horizontal shaft rotated about an axis, causing the particles within the mixture to tumble over each other onto the mixture surface. The charging of material into the V blender is through either of two ends. Batches from 20 kg to 1 ton can be loaded for mixing depending upon the size of the equipments. Now, working of twin shell blender. The exact working of this twin shell blender is shown in this figure. The V blender, that is twin shell blender, is one of the most commonly used tumbling blender. The material is loaded into the blender. As the V blender tumbles, the material continuously splits and recombines with the mixing, occurring as the material free falls randomly inside the vessel. Tumbling blenders rely upon the action of gravity to cause powder to cascade within a rotating vessel. The recommended fill-up volume for the V blender is 50 to 60% of the total blender volume. The product is collected from the bottom of V. Normal blend times are typically in the range of 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the properties of the material to be blended. Now, merits of twin shell blender, that is the V blender. Actually, this V blender without baffle and with baffle are the two types. So here is merits for V cone blender without baffle. It has large capacity. This is easy to handling and having minimum maintenance, whereas V-cone blender with baffles having certain merits. It is used for wet and dry mixing. It has high shearing force. It required serial dilutions. Now, demerits of twin shell blender, that is the V-cone blender. V-cone blender without baffle having few demerits such as high headspace for installation. This is not suitable for fine particulate system and serial dilutions are required. For V-cone blender with baffles, there are various demerits such as size reduction, cleaning problem and sealing problem. Now, uses of twin shell blender. The V blender are used for dry mixing. It provides efficient blending in short time. This blender is often used for pharmaceuticals but not suitable for very soft powders or granules. V blenders are generally used for the food products, milk products, dry flavors, pesticides and herbicides, animal feed, spice blends, baby foods and cosmetics. So now, here I am concluding this session by saying thank you for listening my lecture patiently. So, thank you once again.